Greetings, my friends, and welcome to the last quarter moon episode of Collective Awakening Weekly. My name is Carrie, Konyha, and I'm a professional psychic and shamanic healing practitioner in Sedona, Arizona. If you're new here, this is a weekly energy update to support your journey in spiritual awakening, healing, and empowerment. We are having our first and probably only snow day of the year here in Sedona today, so I'm perched in my little meditation area here at home. Give yourself a moment to settle in with me, and let's dive in. So I want to start today's episode by thanking all of you who contributed your positive feedback in regard to my new format that I'm doing here. I'm loving the format as well, so we're going to keep it going. And welcome to Pisces season. We are officially in Pisces season right now. The sun is in Pisces. We also have Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. If you've been following the series this year, you know that Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces is a part of the big theme that's playing out this year. And we're getting closer and closer to some significant alignments that are triggering that energy of spiritual awakening. And some of those alignments are happening this week. So first I'll share that we have both Mars and Venus, both of which are in Capricorn and Earth sign, coming into a sextile alignment with Neptune, which is in Pisces. Basically, this is bringing in a strong energy theme this week around imagination and intuition, especially aligned with all that we are striving to experience, express, or manifest right now. So this is a week where we can feel like we are experiencing progress. I've talked about this last week, and that energy is still shining in. The Pisces energy that's coming in right now, both with the sun and Neptune and Jupiter, are supporting all of us in harnessing the power of our imagination, harnessing the power of that strong wave of intuition that's coming in, but with a sense of trusting the divine flow. We can look at this as letting go. We can look at this as surrendering to the divine will in alignment with what we know our intentions are. And that is what's bringing us into the realm of tapping into infinite potential and possibilities this week. Now we've got some additional astrological alignments happening that are further supporting this theme of strongly activated imagination and intuition this week. Namely, on Sunday, we have the moon, which will be in Capricorn by then, in a conjunction alignment with Venus, Mars, and Pluto, which are all in Capricorn. So we've got a lot of Capricorn energy happening this week. We've got a significant Pisces energy happening this week. The Earth Capricorn energy is supporting forward movement and alignment with manifestation. The Pisces energy is what brings us into that clarity of what we're dreaming into being. The Pisces energy is very much about dreaming things into our reality. So we've had this Venus, Mars, Pluto conjunction thing happening for a while now. We've had a lot of activity happening with Pluto over the past several months, which brings transformation. And that theme is continuing into this week. The transformation phase that we're in, on one hand, is going to feel like riding the wave of elements of our life that we might feel are not completely within our control, but doing that within a clear sense of vision that we're intending towards or aligning with. We also have Mercury, which is in Aquarius, making a conjunction with Saturn that is also in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius energy has a tendency to illuminate sort of outside of the box type of thinking. Especially because we also have Mercury squaring Uranus on February 24th. Uranus is sudden, unexpected changes. Mercury has to do with our thinking, our communication, and things like that. So Mercury in Aquarius, outside of the box type of thinking, is going to be further emphasized or supported by this square that's happening with Uranus. Innovative thinking, but also leaving room for unexpected opportunities to arise in alignment with what our trajectory is right now in our mindset. And then Saturn in Aquarius is renovating our idea of structures we're establishing for ourselves and what our plan is for how we are moving forward. Also, I want to say on February 26th, we've got the moon in Capricorn harmonizing with Uranus and Jupiter, which brings in even more of that feeling of strong intuition and empowered feeling of making progress. So imagination, intuition in alignment with what we're intending on experiencing, creating, manifesting is what the main overarching theme is. Now that's happening for all of us collectively. But as we're getting into the cards, I'm going to guide you through some processes of how you can get some really specific insight for yourself around how you can work with these energies in ways that are uniquely aligned with you, your energy, your specific intentions and situations. So the tarot spread that we're working with today is one that's specifically for this phase of the moon that we're in. So the last quarter moon phase, each lunar cycle, is more about releasing, letting go, creating a little bit more space for what wants to harmonize, which leads us to new intentions that are being planted as we move towards the next new moon happening next week. So I'm going to do a 3-card tarot spread today. I'm using my Osho Zen tarot deck. I love using this deck for myself, especially when I'm seeking like deeper spiritual insight. And I'm just going to mix these up real good. Get them all changed every which way around, and let's see what wants to come up. So we're going to take a look at gaining messages around what's harmonizing for us collectively and individually, what's clearing, releasing, fading away, and what are we being inspired to carry forward. Okay. So here we are, and let me see what card wants to come. Feels like this one. Okay, it's the ripeness card. Now, the image on this card you can see is like an apple falling from a tree, which happens when it's ripe enough to be released from the tree, obviously, right? So this represents our own internal ripening, our own readiness to move on to a next stage of life, a next journey, a next adventure. So that's happening for all of us collectively. And as this is showing up in the card position that indicates what's harmonizing, we're all individually experiencing some unique form of internal harmonization or even external harmonization that's preparing us for the next stage of experience in our life, which is what happens when the apple falls from the tree. Now, what I'm going to start doing in this series, which is new and something that I haven't done before, and it's actually a part of how I've been inspired by this Mars, Venus, Neptune sextile energy that's happening. Some of you who are active subscribers on my channel here are students of mine who are learning how to read cards or developing your intuition. And so for those of you who are wanting to dive in with me on that level, even if you're not currently a student of mine, what I'm going to do is give you little pointers as to how you can use the cards that are coming up here each week and gain insight for your own personal path. So the way that you read the cards intuitively has to do with the symbolism of the cards. So today, this deck that I'm working with is a little bit more abstract. It doesn't really follow the true to form traditional Rider-Waite deck, but the abstractness of it, I think, might lend itself to being a good place to start. So how do we get a special message from the cards for us individually? You look at the card and see what aspect of the card is jumping out to you the very most. You want to softly gaze at the card. What aspect of this card do I really feel drawn to? What's catching my attention? It could be a particular color on the card. It could be a particular shape on the card. It could be the name of the card itself. The cards are also connected to numbers. This one is associated with the number 9, which is interesting because 9 indicates the completion of a cycle or a sense of wholeness, and that's why it's connected to the energy of ripeness. We're harmonizing in our wholeness in a way that enables us to feel ready for a next stage of experience or life. So what I'm going to invite all of you to do, not only in this episode, but from this point forward, is tell me in the comments what aspect of this card is jumping out at you the most, and tell me what you intuitively sense, you feel that symbol means to you, and then I'll reply to that comment and give you some additional insight as to that symbol. Again, it could be a shape in the cards, an image in the cards, a color in the cards. So really just let yourself be in a meditative space and ask yourself, what aspect of this card is jumping out at me specifically? Tell me in the comments what that is. Tell me what you intuitively sense that means for you. And then again, I'll share additional insights with you. We're really on some levels collectively coming into a sense of literal ripeness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, readiness to dive into new energies circulating, fresh experiences. And so ask yourself, how's that showing up for me in my life? And then the messages that are coming up for you are going to be specifically aligned with that. The next card we're looking at is what's fading, what's releasing, what's clearing away, making room for the new. Let's see what wants to come up here. The creativity card, creativity. So we have a woman here, multicolored card. There's a lotus right here. There's a moon. She's lifting her hand up to the moon as if to receive creative inspiration. Now we're talking about all this Pisces energy, which is also very connected to things that relate to lunar energies. Intuition, imagination, creativity, unconscious mind, spirituality, or sensing feeling component of ourselves. So as this relates to what's fading, what's releasing, there more than likely in your life is some thing that you've been putting creative energy into. Pay attention to how it's taken shape so far. Pay attention to where you're realizing where maybe there's a component of what you've been creatively envisioning that has morphed. And so it's about pivoting your focus a little bit. It's not about disregarding whatever the creative intent or ambition has been. It's just about pivoting the focus. So again, take a look at the card. What aspect of this card is showing up for you, is standing out for you? And then the last card we're looking at is a message about what we're carrying forward. So again, this is connected to the phase of the current lunar cycle that we're in right now, where we're in that waning phase. We're in more of a releasing, surrendering, expressing, letting go phase in preparation for what's going to be fresh energies, new intentions, next week as we come into the new moon. What's remaining after what wants to be released that we can carry forward based on what I was just saying here with this pivot of focus energy. Okay, it's the isolation card. So when I look at this card, the first thing that I'm seeing, it's more about what's carrying forward is coming out of isolation. Now, obviously, we've all been experiencing literal and metaphoric isolation for a few years now because of everything that's been going on in the world. When you look at the card closely, you can see in the foreground there's ice, and in the background there's a human face that has tears coming down, and it's like the warmth of those tears are melting away the ice, coming out of perhaps a time of feeling frozen in time. All of us has probably experienced that on some level. This is assigned to the number 3, which ultimately is a symbol of growth, expansion, fruition, working towards manifestation. So as this is showing up in what are we carrying forward, ask yourself, where have I been feeling isolated? Where am I ready to step out of isolation into the warmth of life once again? There may be things with the tears that are coming through. There may be old emotional energies that want to purge or be cleansed or cleared or released in order for a fresh motivation to arise. Does that make sense? You can ask yourself, where do I need an emotional release? How can I support that for myself so that I can allow whatever inspiration that's underneath that so that it can grow? We're carrying forward whatever that inner true motivation, enthusiasm, ambition is on that soulful level that might be underneath an energy that we've kept compartmentalized within ourselves, which could be another component of the isolation. Now let's do just one more overall message from Spirit here. Harmony. Okay, so we come full circle because the first card position that we looked at is what's harmonizing. So with everything that came through today, the ripeness card, where do we feel really full and ready for a next experience of life? The creativity card, inspiring us to be clear on where I might need to pivot my creative focus or energy in order to bring things into being. Where am I coming out of isolation? Having some introspection, some healing energy around that brings us full circle into renewed harmony. And I'm going to give you a chance to look at this card too. What part of the harmony card is jumping out at you? Is there a symbol in this card? Is there a color? Is there a feeling? The name, the number? Tell me what's jumping out at you. Tell me what you feel it means to you intuitively, and then I'll give you some more feedback. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here for now. All my love, many blessings. Namaste. Have a glorious week, and I will see you in the next video.